Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. Just kidding. But hello again. This is what we will use today because for me, I think this is easier for us because at least for it will not be hard for you to download the videos. You could just review, and it will only take a very minimal space, and it will be easier for you to discuss, to review later on, and you could play and play and play and play. You could just bump it. You could just share it on your messenger and whatsoever. But now let's dig in with our discussion. So last time, I know that we have discussed maybe some of you, but I'm sure for Biped that I have discussed the teacher and the community. In the teacher and the community, we've learned that a teacher is a facilitator of learning. Well, now I know that we've been dealing with this since a very long time. Even during your first years of teaching, I've been telling you, and maybe most of your teachers have been telling you that teachers nowadays are just facilitators of learning. And now for us, this is additional, I could say, an additional thing. Really, at the section 1 of the teacher and the community of Article 3, the teacher is a facilitator of learning and the development of the youth. He shall therefore render the best services by providing an environment conducive to such learning and growth. With the latter part of the sections, you will really discuss, we will really check that it is more on the teacher are there. And my dear students, although we will not give the lecture type, I know you'd have been thinking, okay, so the teachers are facilitator of learners and now we will not discuss, so we cannot be around. But actually, my dear students, you will still be around and their teacher and your students must see you. Especially, I know that right now you've been in, how should you call this? I think some of you are already exposed, or many of you, since you're already third year student, you're already exposed to the students, and you really know in high school you cannot just leave them there and allow them to play without you supervising. Of course, the teacher must be present and the teacher will set the tone. Although they are on their own, you are still there providing everything. You are the facilitator of learning and you need to help the school to provide these things. We are the vital people for this matter. And each teacher, of course, will merit reasonable and social recognition. We shall have behave honor, and of course, this is another things that we are not allowed to do. We are not allowed to do gambling. We're not allowed to. Sorry, sorry for it. My dog is fighting. All right, so we are not allowed to smoke, to gamble, and I know many of you are already smoking. I mean, not all, but many teachers are smoking, and even your teachers, some of them are smoking, but it's not allowed in this one. It's not ideal. Actually, it's not ideal to smoke, especially to gamble, because again, a teacher must possess these qualities, the paragon of nature, the paragon of virtue, rather, not nature. And it's very important for the students to have this quality because they are thinking, oh, teacher ko to. It means that I will follow this. And if they will see you drinking, gambling, those sorts of things, it will be hard for them to understand. Well, in college, I know that many of your teachers, some of your teachers maybe are smoking with the students. Some of the teachers are drinking with the students and gambling with the students and even posting it online. But, my dear students, as much as possible, we need to draw the line and not do those things. Because it will be hard for us and hard for them to, and hard for the teacher, the students to put their 100% trust on you. sometimes, because not all students are raised by their parents to see such, and it's really hard. Now, also, every teacher should help the school keep the people and community informed the school's work and accomplishment, well as the needs and problems. And now, I think you have discussed this one, and you could just read the section 1 to the section 8 of that. But to summarize everything, we will say that a professional teacher is, of course, a facilitator of learning. When student provides favorable environment for learning, he or she must act as a leader, and she must initiate different community activities that could be participated by not just the parents and not just the students, but the community as well. That's why we have extension services. So sometimes we do some activities and we really participate, especially in DepEd. They participate in different activities of the government. Most of the students, most of the government officials are targeting these students because it is very important. They are vital, and usually public schools, compared to private schools, in public schools, it is those students who are enrolled in these schools are nearby. Their parents are nearby, so that's part of it. And one of the things that I have learned, especially when I was, because before I'm not a product of public school, and during my first years of teaching, I am a product of private school. The only thing that I know is every feast day we will go to orphanage when we were in grade 5, and sometimes we will go to home for the aged. Yeah, that's one. We will donate some goods for those people. But when it comes to public school, they have this memorandum agreement. Last time during our Sambalaran, I think we have this in Taliptip National High School, Bulacan State University, in partnership with Taliptip National High School. We have activities such as toilet bowl cleaner making, perfume making. Those two were from Sir R.S. and Ma'am Amer. They facilitate this one. They're the ones who is teaching the mother, the parents, not just the mother, but the parents, the guardians of the students, as well as the teacher, to have additional income, because some of them, if they will learn from this, they could sell it. They could say, I think Sir Ma'am Amer is telling them, oh, you could go here and buy this stuff. You could go to Shopee, Lazada, and buy this ingredient, because this ingredient is what is the component of this one, and then you can just adjust, and depending on what kind of mixture do you want for your toilets or you want from your perfume. And also, I think for the BSHM or Bitivited, we also have what you call this? We targeted community with a school. I forgot the school, but we tie up with another school, and then we targeted, I think it was at that school, and we told them, we give seminars on how to make peanut butter, achara as well. So yeah, for us, in the institutions are partnering, and it is a requirement to be a part of linkages. So it's very important that we partner with colleges or state universities, and also with government officials, to have a harmonious relationship. We need to have that. And even in Meneses campus, we are not, especially during this parking lot problems and also other things, the government and the barangay officials, specifically local officials, are there, and they meet and greet, and they have different occasions. So those are different things that we teachers are organizing, because although we have principals who will sign the memorandum of agreement, the teachers are the ones who were thinking or looking for partners and befriending. That's why connections are very important. And also, My dear students, as teachers, we must not take advantage of this position to proselyte. Neither we must criticize the community of customs and traditions. Sometimes we don't understand things, but it doesn't give us the authority to just mock these people. And especially as teachers, we magnify these things. For instance, in your class you have a minority group, and you're the first one who's laughing and making fun of these kids, so it's not good. Also, you must not be involved in other things for this matter, and we must provide a very healthy environment and very secure environment. And although before it's not already the corporal punishment was already abolished back then, I think. Wait, I'll just check my resources. Okay, it's not okay. Yeah, so now I saw it. It's not permitted under the revised penal code and Revised Penal Code and Welfare Act of 2006. But I think there's some teachers who still doing corporal punishment, and they're using this as an excuse. They are terrorizing the kids' minds for this matter. For instance, I found some news of the teachers in the Philippines. Just imagine this one. This is just 2015. There were students who struck. This is from ABS-CBN News. A teacher who struck students with broom. So imagine, pauso pa pala siya. And teacher accused of sexually abuse of students. This is just 2022, October 16. This was published in the 2022 October. And another one from this also September, teacher hates students doing chalkboard work and get suspended, of course. Thank God they were suspended. And this another one. This one. This is very recent because this is just last January 2023. Teacher gets max of 6 years for stuffing trash in students' mouths. This is from Rappler. And as you can see, this one is not very good. Imagine, so this is very health hazard, and it's not okay. You are traumatizing your students. And DepEd probes teacher. Okay, so there was also a teacher. Okay, so I have this from Philippine News Agency. I was reading right now. Wait a minute. I'm verifying. There was a TikTok incident of a from DepEd, of course. Insinuate a potential child abuse action from a TikTok video. So this is just November 5, 2021. So as you can see, my dear students, although we are already in this modern age, there are many abuse, and it's corporal punishment is not allowed. We are not we are not we could still experience corporal punishment and sometimes abuses from our students, from our teachers, and sometimes of course our students, but now we're focused on the teachers. And now for your activity today, and I want you to answer these questions. Alright, so these questions must be answered on your notebook. Okay, so write down. First is activity 1. Okay, no, not yeah, activity 1. Okay, and okay, answer this one. Just write it down. Okay, how can a teacher be a facilitator of learning? Don't forget to write the questions, okay? Write number 1, how can a teacher be a facilitator of learning? Next, number 2, Can a professional teacher take the initiative to organize community activity for community development? And number 2, can a professional teacher take an initiative to organize community activity for community development? Number 3, how can a teacher show respect for community customs and traditions? Number 3, how can a teacher show respect for community customs and traditions? So these are the first activity that you will do with this podcast type of discussion. So just write the questions and answer it. 2 sentences will do. The minimum is 2 sentences for each questions. So 2 sentences only. Alright. So now let's begin with the next article, the teachers and the parents. And now, as a teacher, one of the hatest, the not, it's actually not hate, but let us say one of the things that I don't like doing is PTC. For me, the experience in PTC is a little bit tiring. That's why my friends and I think we're two. Yeah, before we're just one of my friend, and then that we do this detaching. Okay, so detoxifying. So RBTC is usually every Saturday, and with this, after this parents teacher conference, we started with just one of my best friends, and then now we are in a group. We detoxify, as in we detoxify. My friend is a pre-kindergarten teacher, and then a grade 1 teacher, and then a high school teacher, but in science. So the all of us, except for my grade 1 teacher, are advisors. So we are the ones who's facing these parents, as in we are the ones who tell their kids, "I'm sorry, ma'am, your kid has failed this subject. I'm sorry, your students, blah 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 blah." Okay, so I'll share you some stories that I have encountered when I was dealing with these parents. First story. Okay, one of my favorite story. I have this parent of mine that is very bubbly. I really like talking to this parent. I will not mention if it is a woman or a man. I love talking to this parent. And then this is the problem. Before, the parent's child is, I think, top 8. And then suddenly one of the subject of this student was like in line of 7. And then I said, "Dear parent, your daughter is has a line of 7." And then suddenly this bubbly thing was, oh my god, this parent is very, very mad. And now she's very mad, and she keeps telling, "You should not do this, you shouldn't do it, you should inform us and whatsoever, because I put my child to this school because I believe that this blah 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 blah." And imagine, this parent is not shouting but has a very, 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 very high tone with me. And I am not the subject teacher. It's in a different subject. And I am receiving everything. All of the toxins are on me. Imagine. And that is just one kid. I have 40 students. 38 students for that day. Some of my students, there's sometimes during PTC, they are very, very, very bad about this parent, because this parent they said, "Oh my god, this person, it took so much time. I want to do something." And then when this parent the one who's telling, then she sat down, and then it took 30 minutes We only have 10 minutes, but it took 30 minutes because this parent keep on sharing and sharing and sharing. Just imagine. Those are very toxic and you want to stop them. Stop, mother, stop, father. You need to do this. Okay. Third story is there was a kid, there was a student of mine who is very different with your parent, with the parent, and also different in school. So the father was asking, the parent is asking rather, if is this kid is he, if the kid is okay, and I said yes. The kid follows instruction. The kid has good grades. The kid is sociable. The kid is easy to be with the classmates. And then the father said, "Is this kid is not like this at home? This kid doesn't listen. This kid makes the mom high blood." And now, okay, all the time we've been dealing with it feels that we've been talking to other kid, but actually we are talking to his kid only. So imagine two different personalities. There was also a time, this is my fifth story, so I think I'll just have these five stories. There was a time that this is not a PTC. This is just an ordinary day. I was from South Supermarket, and because it's already, I think, 4 o'clock, so I was very very happy because uwian na, and I'm from South. Just imagine. Okay, I'm from grocery, and then suddenly I saw. I think I'm not from South, but I'm from faculty, or I was from class. I don't know either. And then the parent was so mad at me, and I said, my daughter is being bullied. My God, my daughter, you're not doing anything. You should be there. So what happened, ma'am? So of course, what happened, ma'am? What happened to the daughter that you're referring to? And she said, her tissue. I know it's just 10 pesos, but inubusan siya. Sabing ganun. I was, she's shouting at me with just this 10 peso tissue. Just imagine. Keep being shouted at because of a 10 peso tissue. And you didn't even, you're not the one who got the tissue. It's his classmates. It's the classmates of this kid, not you. Just imagine. So many experience. But there are also fun experience to be with these parents. Most of the parents of my students are, when it comes to gift, they're very generous, as in. And for me, it's not about the gift, but it's really nice to be appreciated. And sometimes, it's also nice that they are actually, letters for me are okay, especially those students that doesn't feel that they are very expressive. Then they will give you letters. Yeah, that's also nice. But I have received many stuffs from their parents because it's norm in junior high school that you give to your parents. And now let's dig in with this one. Now, of course, the PTC, your main goal is to show the report card. In the report card, each report card is different. Each schools have their different ways on sharing their report cards. Some schools they have the printed out. Some schools, before in our school in Centro Escolar, they have the report cards that they are using is you'll print it out and you will write down for every student. You will write positive and negative comments for them. So it's very tiring because you keep on thinking, what positive traits could I give this kid? I cannot think of anything. Okay, but you need to think of it. So I sometimes Googled it. Okay, sorry for my students, but I sort of Googled positive things to say to students. Okay, ganun siya. I think this one is applicable to this person. So that one. But sometimes it's personal. I said, you're very good. You're good in this one. There was a time that he is good and that one. And we are showing the reports of our students to the parents, which sometimes is good, which sometimes is not. Sometimes the report cards, they will ask you, why is it low? My kid is very smart, and then you see the grades. They did not submit anything. It's your fault, teacher. You should ask them to submit. We keep on asking, we keep on giving them deadlines, but they're not submitting. But it's part. We need to be transparent to students. We need to be transparent to teachers about this one. And that's maybe the reason why I am transparent to you, because I'm from my school. Yeah, I mean, from the school that I have, and everything is transparent. You know why you're like that. You know the blanks. You know why you are low, because I always show to my students their grades. And right now, that is a little bit like your report card. What you're holding right now, the one that asks you to print out, is a little bit of report cards. That is your midterm report card. Although that is not yet final, because the notebook is the project is 80 points only. It could be a lower and it could be higher depending on how you do this. Alright? So now, let's see. One of this in section 1 of Article 9, the teacher and the parents, it is said that a teacher shall establish and maintain cordial relations with parents and shall conduct himself to merit their confidence and respect. Though it's a little bit hard, because parents, of course, are different, but most parents really entrusted their kids, or they will entrust their kids with you, especially the spoiled ones, because the spoiled kids, they cannot handle. But imagine, you can, if you're, this is what I keep on thinking, if you can't handle your kid, if you cannot tell them, if they are shouting at you, how are we supposed to tell them that you should not shout here, and in their house they're not disciplined? But the parents, especially in private school, since they're paying lots and lots, but not loads of money, but they're paying and paying and paying, they will tell you, we keep on paying you, so do your job. And it's really hard, because as a parent, it's okay. In schools, we teach them, but it's not just teaching the subject. We also teach everything, culture, values. We've already discussed it. We've already discussed it last time, but we've already discussed these things, and we need to teach these things. And sometimes 1 hour with us is not enough. It's not enough to teach science in 1 hour, even a lesson, especially if we have a slow learner students. And that is why it's also important that we have assignments. I personally recommend assignments, not because I am lazy or whatsoever, but because you've already read the assignment before you go to me, and then we could discuss. Okay? And not we will go, we only have 1.5 hour, and then you will go to me, you are in a blank slate, you don't know what you will do. You should I write, should I do this, should I do that, what will we do today? Okay, I will just be absent. Isn't it? It's easier to be absent if you know that you will not lose anything. That's why I always give assignments. Now, a teacher shall inform parents through proper authorities of the progress or deficiencies of learners under him, exercising utmost candor and tact and pointing out the learners' deficiencies and seeking parents' cooperation for the proper guidance and improving of learners. Now, in our school, this is a case-to-case basis. This is not like rules a government. So it's a case-to-case basis. One of the things that we need to understand as a parent, as a teacher, is each schools have their own ways on telling the parents that their kid is failing. In Centro Escolar, this is our protocol, since many since we're the first ones, one of the first ones, I think I've been there, it was just 3 years, no, 2 years 2 years pa lang siya when I was their teacher, or three. I don't know, 2 or 3, either of which. Now, one of the systems that we develop is that, for instance, in my class, this student of mine has already two failing quizzes. Now, I will tell it to the advisor, and then the advisor will text the parent. Or if it is elementary and they but usually with text, but sometimes during pickups they will. That's why the parents would also sign the quizzes. In elementary students, we could see, oh, why do the parents need to sign this? They need to sign everything, because if they sign everything, um, they will see, my God, my baby, he failed this subject 20 out of 50. How will this? What will happen? This is the examinations, and their score is very low. So now they have the idea. So now, in Centro Escolar, what we usually do is we tell the advisor, and then the advisor should talk to the parents, not the subject teacher directly. Sometimes the teachers will set an appointment. We have an appointment schedule, and then they will set up an appointment to the teacher, and then they will talk about it. What can we do? What can you advise us to do for our kid? Should we have a tutor? Should we have this and that? Those things. No. So after that, we will put it in the card. But sometimes we just use pencil. For instance, 74. We will not write 74, because when we write 74, it's a permanent record. So we just use 74 in a pencil. And then sometimes we let them borrow the grade. So I know you know the story. So that's it. Now, for the section 3, a teacher shall hear parents' complaints with sympathy and understanding, and shall discourage unfair criticism. This one is actually very common to teachers. We need to, for instance, the students wants to talk to their kid, at the kid of the teacher of the kid, and as a teacher, we will not say, oh, well, they deserve it. Ganun. We cannot say that to our students. We cannot say, they deserve it. Your kid is it's a moron, sorry for that, like that. Or maybe it runs in the blood. Maybe you're moron too. That's not it. It should not do that. But we need to be sympathetic to them, because the grades are permanent records, and maybe we are also, maybe we're doing something wrong as well. We cannot eliminate that thing. We cannot say, I'm sorry, I'm too perfect. You cannot say that it's my bad, I'm too perfect for that. Sorry, you cannot say that, because that's not how it works. That's not how it works. We usually deal with this one like it's a major problem, because it may be a major problem, because the kid will see, oh, okay, my grades are actually not just numbers, but it is about my patience and my ethics, which I will need in the future. Actually, we keep on saying grades are just numbers. As long as you pass, it's okay. You need to blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah blah. But let us think that grades, yes, it's just a number, but it also means something. It also means something that when you got 50, you worked so hard for it. You reviewed 50 out of 50. You reviewed. Well, if you cheat, it's a cheating. But if you didn't cheat, but you reviewed for so many weeks, your examinations is just, for instance, last week of February, but you reviewed during the first week of February, or maybe last week of January, and then you got 50. Yes, I am I'm so happy, because I received a good grade, because I did something great. And you cannot say that just because you didn't get the right grade, you'll just say, no, those people, they think they only leave because of their grades. We have other life. Just because you have different priorities doesn't mean that they're less. Okay, so that the reason why some honor roll students are crying because they got a low grade, does this mean that they are very low, very shallow? Actually, it's not. They're not shallow because they've been prepared. If you are preparing for an examination just yesterday, napuyat ka, you felt that you lost sleep, maybe these honor roll students have been preparing since orientation day. And the sleepless nights is not just today, but they're juggling and juggling and juggling many tasks. Especially those honor roll students are also leaders and other matters. Ayan. So those things, that's why it's very hard for them to accept that they got a low grade because they believe that they did a great job. That's why. And as a teacher, we need to be fair with everything. And now for your next activity, I know that you did that. And I want you to check your understanding. This would be the number 4, activity number 2. So activity number 1 pa din. Just write down in the number 4 to answer this question. Same with the pointing system. 2 sentences will do. Now, answer this. How is professionalism manifested when a parent complains to a teacher for her son's failing grade? How is professionalism manifested when a parent complains to a teacher for her son's failing grade? Number 5, how should a professional teacher respond to unfair criticism raised by parents? Number 5, how should a professional teacher respond to unfair criticism raised by the parents? I think we're already done with the lesson 2. We are now about to have the lesson 3. So I will pause this video message and I will now jump to the lesson 3.